Everyone lied to you. They said that the people living the fullest lives are the ones out there, at the rooftop bar, at the concert, in the crowd. They said that if you'd rather be home on a Friday night, something is wrong with you, that you're broken, avoidant, afraid. But what if the people who crave stillness aren't the ones falling behind? What if they're the ones who figured something out that the rest of the world is too loud to hear? I'm not here to comfort you. I'm here to challenge the entire premise you've been handed, because the science says that your instinct to go inward isn't weakness. It might be the most sophisticated thing your nervous system has ever done. Stay with me because what you're about to learn will completely change how you see yourself. Point 1. Environmental mastery. First, let's talk about something psychologists call environmental mastery, and it has nothing to do with having a nice apartment. When you're out in the world, you are completely at the mercy of chaos, unpredictable noise, strangers' energy, temperatures you didn't choose, lights that hit wrong. For a brain that processes everything at high resolution, the outside world isn't just uncomfortable, it's genuinely expensive. It costs you something. But the moment you walk through your own front door, every variable is calibrated to you. Your lighting, your temperature, your silence, your mug in its exact spot. Researchers call crowded, unpredictable environments wicked learning environments. Places where the feedback is inconsistent and the rules shift constantly. Your home, by contrast, is a kind environment, one where your nervous system can finally stop scanning for threats and start recovering from the ones it already survived. That's not hiding, that's intelligence. Point 2. The hidden cost of just having fun. Here's what no one admits. Socializing, real socializing, is work. Every conversation you have in a crowded room is running a parallel process in your brain. You're reading micro-expressions, managing what you're projecting, calculating the right moment to laugh, to speak, to leave. Psychologists call this impression management, and for some people, it doesn't run quietly in the background. It takes up the entire CPU. When you choose to stay home, you are not choosing nothing. You are choosing to stop performing. You're shutting down the stage and going backstage where you don't have to be anyone's version of yourself, but your own. That's not antisocial. That's ruthless self-preservation, and your energy budget thanks you for it. Point 3. Your nervous system isn't broken. It's high resolution. Harvard psychologist Jerome Kagan spent decades studying people who were naturally quieter, more inward, more sensitive. What he found wasn't weakness. He found that these individuals had nervous systems that were literally built differently from birth, wired to take in more stimuli, process it more deeply, and reach their threshold faster. You're not overwhelmed because you're fragile. You're overwhelmed because you're running more threads than most people even have access to. A restaurant that feels lively to one person is a full sensory assault to your brain. And when you choose home, you're giving your default mode network the part responsible for introspection, creativity, and meaning-making room to actually breathe, to process, to create. The people who've changed the world with ideas didn't generate those ideas in a loud bar. They generated them in the quiet. Point 4. Predictability is not boring, it's strategic. Here's a reframe that might sting a little. You don't rewatch your favorite show because you lack imagination. You rewatch it because your brain is exhausted from decision fatigue, and familiar content lets it travel without working. Modern life forces your brain into detective mode, constantly evaluating risk, predicting outcomes, bracing for disappointment. Predictability is the antidote. It's not a retreat. It's a deliberate restoration of cognitive resources. Your home, your routine, your familiar comforts, they are not the consolation prize. They are the foundation that makes everything else possible. Point 5. Private self-consciousness is emotional intelligence. People who prefer staying home tend to score higher in what psychologists call private self-consciousness. the habit of looking inward rather than outward. In a culture that has turned life into a performance where every experience needs a photo, a caption, an audience, this orientation looks strange. It can even feel like a flaw, but it's not. It's a sign that you don't need external validation to confirm that your life is real. You ask, how does this feel? Not, how does this look? That single distinction is the difference between a life you're living and a life you're curating for someone else's approval. Point 6. For those who earned their stillness. And for some of you, this one lands differently. If you grew up in chaos. If you were the responsible one too early. If your nervous system spent years in crisis mode, managing other people's drama, absorbing other people's emergencies, then the ability to close your door and let the world stay out there isn't a personality quirk. It is a hard-won victory. Your silence at home isn't emptiness. It is active recovery. It is the sound of a nervous system that finally doesn't have to be on alert. Protecting that peace doesn't make you antisocial. It makes you someone who finally chose themselves. The world will always have an opinion about how you spend your time. It will call your stillness laziness. It will call your boundaries avoidance. It will dress FOMO up in neon lights and blast it at you until you feel guilty for wanting quiet. Don't. Because what you are protecting at home is not isolation. It is your center, the place where your thoughts belong to you, where your nervous system gets to exhale, where who you are doesn't have to be performed, justified, or explained. You are not hiding from life. You are living it, just in the place where it actually makes sense to you. If this hit differently than you expected, subscribe. Every week we go beneath the surface of who you are and why. I'll see you in the next one.